Sleeping, got to find me a man. No disguises, just surprises. Someone who I'll understand. I don't need a guy who's been lonely one night, then tells me he's got no more time. I'm looking for someone to share my life. I gotta move on down the line. Searching, looking for love all the time I can. Searching, looking for love. I got to find a man.
Hi everyone.
Some guys excite me, but don't invite
I'll
me.
wait for a few to get on.
I'm always waiting, anticipating. I long for the man of my dreams. Immediately handsome and what you know, baby, just gotta be sweet and kind. There's so many wanting or needing the same. I gotta move on down the line. Searching, looking for love all the time I can. Searching, looking for love. I got to find me a man. Searching, looking for love. Every place again. Searching, looking for love. I got to find a man.
Hi everyone, how are you? Even if there's a couple of you, it doesn't matter. How is everyone? I'll explain to you what this song is. I'm feeling a bit hot now. I'm feeling hot. No, I'm not stripping, relax. Relax. That's for another time, another day. Now, it is hot, especially when you've got my Mediterranean hair. How is everyone today? Thursday, 15th of October. It's grey and miserable and windy in Melbourne, but it doesn't matter because we have colour in our hearts, remember? We do have colour in our hearts. And don't forget to get your, where is it? Get your rainbow colours and put them all over you. Right? Through your crown chakra, your pineal gland, in between the two parts of the brain, and all through the whole body, right? Okay. 15th of October today. How's everyone doing? Mid-October and still we're not getting anywhere, right? That's okay. That's okay. There's a reason for all this stuff. 15th of October today. Let's see what it says. No what ifs, no if onlys, just live today. Right. So, you see, a lot of Librans and a lot of people who sit on the fence do this, what if only, trying not to rock the boat. We can't not rock the boat anymore. It's time to rock the boat. I've got a song for that too. Anyway, so you got to live for today. You got to think for today. You got to plan for today and plan for tomorrow. You've got to do everything today. When I say today, I'm not saying 15th of October, but each day that comes, you've got to plan for today. Don't just say, if you're leaving something for tomorrow, ask yourself, why are you leaving it for tomorrow? It's probably pissing you off, that's why. So it's 15th of October. I've put it on my timeline so you can all see. Right, I'm in a dancing mood today. I don't know why. I'm trying to think of some songs to do some kind of project. And I've got all these songs in my mind. But you know what else, friends? I'm just shuffling the cards. You know what else? I'll just drop this so you can see what I'm doing. No, you can't see. But you know what? I'm the kind of person who hears songs, sings songs in my mind, or aloud too. I'm singing outside. If you're a neighbour, you'd hear me singing and screaming at the same time. But I sing a lot of songs, and those songs often have a meaning for me and for what's happening around us. Right? So I'm just going to shuffle these cards here. And I'll put this slide because you see our dictators on social media don't like it when I play songs. They don't like it. So I'm just going to do this. And while I'm doing this, I've still got the disco in the background. It's Hazel Dean. Remember Hazel Dean from the 80s? Those of you who went around the 80s, you missed out the incredible years of dancing and clubbing. Okay, so 3 cards today. Let's see what message my mate Kathumi in the background. the thing's back to front. Well, I'm back to front. Kathumi in the background there, and Ascended Master. 3 messages he's telling me to pull out. Let's see what he's saying. Now, Kathumi, I'm looking at you, and I'm feeling you, yes. He's jumping around from my left to my right. No, I haven't been on any drugs. That's the fun thing about being a human, is that we can access all different dimensions if we want. Kalimera, Helen, Kalimera, how are you today? How are you? Now, Helen, I've been looking at how I can make some plant-based croissants. Now, you've got me addicted to croissants because I love croissants, but the best croissants I've ever had were in Paris in France at the buffets there. You know, it's funny, I'd gone on a tour from Greece. I'm still shuffling with, you know, Greeks on board the bus. And, of course, I'm not one to, I love my buffets. But it was really funny that when you're traveling with a tour bus full of Greeks, you better get up early because that buffet is going to be empty by 9. So what the chefs did in the hotel there that we were staying is they brought out a fresh batch of croissants. They are light. They were so light. They're not heavy like the ones they make in Australia. They're very heavy. I don't like all that butter, so I'm going to try and see if I can make something plant-based. You've got me now addicted to my croissants. 3 cards. Let's see now what our Ascended Masters have in store for us today. Remember, there's no time out there. We've created time, right? Well, not we, but you know what I mean, to suit the motives, the financial and workplace motives. Whatever we say today is going to reverberate and bounce off later. And whatever we're doing now has happened before, right? Because vibrations work at all sorts of interesting ways and levels on Earth. But the other thing also is that the nasty people, the nasty ones, I'll call them nasty, you know who I'm referring to, they have been effing around with portals. They've been messing around with future vibrations, past vibrations, present vibrations. So we're all in a mess at the moment. And this is why I say, good morning, Adrian. How are you today, darling? Good morning. This is why I say the safest place for you to get any energy, the safest, is not from others, is you get it directly from the source, the loving Galactic Federation, right? The highest source. And you bring the love straight through your crown chakras. You know that even when I would go to physios and the massage therapists and all that, unbeknown to them, I would be actually calling when I was laying down, I would be calling my angel guides and ascended masters to actually channel energy through the hands of the therapists. So that was coming through me. They didn't know that. I didn't tell them that, right? But I was doing that because I wanted someone to have extra power in their hands, because the energy comes out of our hands, our palms here. So the energy comes from. Don't be surprised if they put a fucking mask on our hands, right? This is even more important than this. They'll get onto that, don't you worry. They're starting slowly. They're going to turn us into mummies. You know the Egyptian mummies? Right, I had to shuffle that again. 3 cards. Let's see what messages. Opportunities. This has come up a few times, and I keep saying to you that all the shit that's happening now in your personal lives, the dictatorship we're under in Victoria, Australia, because this is what we're under. Get it through your heads. We're under a dictatorship. Because if you don't accept it, you're going to be in denial for years, like we have all been in our personal relationships and our friendships. So start to accept the situation we're in, so we know how to deal with it. Time to grow up. We have to grow up in one day. Not 10 years or 20 years. No time anymore. Even kids, they have to grow up from 10 to 50. They have to acquire that wisdom if they're going to get anywhere. Well, 50, even 50-year-olds are, a lot of them are dumbasses anyway. So this is an opportunity now to force us to grow up. It's fast forwarding us, right? Now, I've got dance music in the background. I hope you don't mind. It doesn't affect the energies or the clairvoyance I do. In fact, it helps me even more because music raises your adrenaline and the good adrenaline, right? And it's interesting how I remember from 30 years ago, I was dating a lot of guys that were, on, soft drugs, hard drugs, whatever. And I knew intuitively that I didn't have to take anything to get high. I've experienced being high without anything. I've experienced it. I've experienced it through sex. I've experienced it through dancing. I've experienced it just listening to music. You can get high just from listening to music. You don't need any medications or anything else. Anyway, that's another topic. Number 2, personal transformation. Well, that's what's going to come out of the opportunities. If you take the opportunity, right? Take the opportunity to be honest and transparent with yourself and those around you. There's the opportunities there. Now, if you're wondering what's all this got to do with changing our lifestyles, if we don't change one at a time and have that domino effect, nothing's going to happen. One at a time. There's no magic wand. Well, I can do it if I want. I can get out my selenite or whatever and mesmerize you all. I can do that. But that's not going to achieve what I want because I don't want you to be mesmerized or brainwashed under me. I want you to be leaders. I want you to think for yourselves. I want you to act for yourselves, make decisions for yourselves, be your own decision makers. I don't want you to have to go to someone else and say, what do you think of that? Sure, you can get a second opinion, but I don't want to brainwash you. I can do that. I can do it very easily. Actually, I don't know why I'm not doing it for the other side. Oh, I tell you why. Right? Okay. I tell you why I can't brainwash the others, the bad people. I tell you why I can't do it. I can do it, but I tell you why it won't work. That's called my forbidden lover. Well, that was another time, another lifetime for me. No more forbidden lovers, I hope, especially during Mercury retrograde, right? Good morning, Christine. How are you? You know that I like to ramble, but there's always a reason. Now, I can easily do what I need to do to better the brains of people that are messed up out there, right? The humans out there that have been brainwashed by the bad. But I cannot change the brains of those who've been cloned or artificial intelligence because they're made out of metal and plastic in their brains. I've got no power of that. I can't do that, right? Others can do it from other dimensions. They can do it. Number 3, and they are here on the planet. They're just walking around gently, just assessing the situation, seeing who's strong and who's weak to manage. Because we don't need drama queens, and we don't need people who are who can't handle the truth. It's true. I'm not just saying it to recite something from a film. Warrior, I keep saying it to you, leaders. Got to all be leaders, and this is what I'm here for. I can do it. I've done it within myself. If I couldn't do it, I wouldn't say it, because why would I lie about something? Why would I say something I can't do it? I have a lot of pride in myself and in the work that I do here with the parrots and anything I do. I have a lot of pride, even in my cleaning and everything else. I have pride. If I say things that I can't deliver, I'm spoiling my credibility, right? And that will embarrass me. I don't care about being embarrassed, not at all. I don't care about being embarrassed. You can say anything you want. I don't care. I mean, I say things about my life and I'm not embarrassed. But my credibility and my dignity, it matters to me. My credibility and my dignity matters to me more than anything, because everything I do and everything I say, everything I touch, has got my high vibration of dignity and credibility in it. Okay? All right, so that's a warrior. We're all going to be strong. We're all going to be strong. You can be strong. Don't ever doubt yourselves. Everyone else has called us shit. I remember I was 6 years old and my father said, "You're a bum." He said to me at 6. I was fucking 6 years old, and he said, "Paris, you're a bum. You can't do anything." Right? At 6 years old. You say that to a fucking child at 6. You say that to a fucking child at 6. So I carried that through. Subconsciously it was there. It came out. My sense of insecurity in myself came out when I really got hit hard in the personal life and corporate world. Yeah, that's what families do. They want to break it to control you. That's what friends do. That's what partners do. Oh, especially partners. It's another topic. Now, told you what I've got here. Told you today, 15th of October, my beloved angel Oscar Eclectus passed away 3 years ago on the 15th of October. And I tell you, I have I have lost birds. I've sat beside them. I've got videos. I haven't had the opportunity emotionally to edit them. You know what it is sitting beside a bird? Because birds know when they're going to die, right? Just like people. And the birds are crying. They're asking for you to sit next to them. So I take them in my arms and I hold them, right? And I hold them because they need someone there when they're crossing over. I've got it on footage. I just haven't got the emotional calmness to be able to edit it for the whole world to see when a bird dies. How it calls for its owner, for their owner, because it's not an it, it's a he or she. I had Lucy who was dying. Didn't come from a good background. Yeah. So Oscar passed 3 years ago. And I know that they're with St. Francis, and I know that they're up there. You know, I don't believe in the gods and all that shit. In the one God. I believe in the many gods, but not the one God. And I know he's up there with St. Francis, and I know that Oscar's always around me. We've adopted another eclectus and called him Oscar, right? And I can see, you know, some parts of Oscar's character in there. But it doesn't mean that his physical presence doesn't affect me. It affects me tremendously, even though clairvoyantly I'm with him. But still, I don't know. I think it's natural for when someone that we really love, that we really, really love or loved, when they leave our life, even break up with us and leave us and betray us, it's the cord is still there. And he just kills us inside. He kills us, whether they betrayed us or not. He kills us anyway. It's another topic. You see, I get emotional. I cry and I laugh every day. And that's okay. You're meant to do that. Right? It tells me I've still got empathy, still got emotion. Because the day I don't cry, I know there's something wrong. I've been artificially intelligenced. Drinking my wild blueberries, banana, orange, and strawberries in coconut milk. Okay, now, friends, getting on to the nitty-gritty that's going on in the 3D world that's affecting our 5D world, right? Now, listen to this. Not happy with what's going on around us, right? And most of you aren't. Most of you aren't. Now, I'm going to get to Mercury in retrograde. Very important. I said I'm going to pump it into your head so every time it comes around next year, it's going to come around again. What is it? February, March. It comes around 3-4 times a year before I get to Mercury retrograde. Check out your phone settings. Have you noticed that my voicemail is different? It often doesn't even show up as a voicemail message. They're changing the settings in the background. And I was listening to Melbourne 3, the weather's shit outside. I was listening to Melbourne 3W radio this morning that, you know, about this app that they want everyone to have so that we know what we spend, where we go, what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, you can put on airplane mode, but they're going to do it that even on airplane mode, they didn't say that, but I know intuitively, they're going to know that those of us who don't microchip ourselves, how to find out what we do. Well, our credit card is a trail. Check your phone settings. Check your voicemail settings and see they've changed. Remember, it was a female voice, now it's gone to a male voice. Something going on. Right, there's something going on. Because the female voice is feminine, gentler, softer, they've purposely put a male voice on purpose so that we can get brainwashed and used to this masculine energy. Masculine energy is not just from men, it's also women, right? Also straight or gay, it's also women. Now, the Facebook settings have changed. Have you noticed? Facebook settings. When you try and share things, you sometimes can't share on your profile. You can't share. There's different settings have changed. They're all going through it now. And the other thing also that some of you may know, may not know. Now, I've got around 4 websites that I create myself, and I use WordPress platform. And I use a bit of HTML also for a couple of codes, you know, plugins and codes and that. But WordPress is, you know, it's pretty basic. You use just normal English or whatever your language is and create websites in the admin in the back, in the dashboard in the back end. Now, as of 24th of October, in a few days, 9 days, Facebook and Instagram, because they're owned by the same people, they would not allow me to share Facebook, Instagram posts on WordPress. Automatically share. Because at the moment on the websites, on the WordPress websites, I can put a plugin, a code, whatever you want to call it, and which says, right, the code says, hey, Facebook, Instagram, can you connect up with Paris's Facebook, Instagram page, and whatever she puts there goes automatically on my WordPress page, right? Same with Twitter. But this is about Facebook and Instagram. Twitter's going to jump the bandwagon. Facebook's not going to allow that anymore. Why? You know why? So it makes it harder for us to share things automatically. You can still put that information, but you got to do it manually on your website. It takes more time, more effort. So they are slowly cutting back censorship also that way. And I've said to you a few times before, they are going to cut these phones, cut the internet, so we won't have any way to communicate with each other. So what are we different when that happens? We've got to go all out in the streets, don't we? We've got to go all out in the streets and say, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? That's where it's going to go, so be prepared for that. The whole thing's going to crash intentionally. Oh, of course they've got all our IP numbers from our computers. They're only going to crash those who aren't part of the artificial intelligence plan, if I can put it like that. Right? No, they're not going to crash everyone's system. No, of course not. It's not in their interest to do that, is it? Right. Now, friends, I had the song Searching for Love at the start. It's been coming to me all week this week now, and I'm thinking, am I going to find husband number 3? Right? Because I've been looking for a gentle, loving man. But I said, no, he's not going to come during Mercury retrograde. No, it's just going to come after mid-November. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to end up finding someone who's, like the song says, gentle, kind, and loving. Right? Husband number 3. I've been putting it out there for a few years. Right? Someone who's loving. And then I've got this song coming up. All right, there's a reason why this song is coming up. We're all searching and looking for love. We're all looking for it. I know we're all looking for it. There's nothing wrong for it. We have to. Now, Mercury retrograde. This is what you've all got to know. And why? It's very, very, very important. Now, Adrian, you said the labels we've been branded are not our truth. And to drop the labels now, you can stand in the truth within. That's true, Adrian. But you know it's hard. Because we go after labels. Because often some labels are of better, and you know, if you're talking about clothes and cars and all that, are often better quality than the cheaper done labels. Generally, not all of them, right? So that's one type of label. The thing is that we've got to remember that a lot of stuff is made in Asia anyway, with a quality, it's made by slave labor, which isn't a good label, is it, for us to be wearing these clothes that are made in Asia? Slave labor clothes. It is, it's labels. It's like who's got a better car, who's got a better house, who's got this, who's got that. And I'm all for beauty, and I love beautiful houses. Like this house that we're living in, they couldn't sell it. A lot of high maintenance. It was in a fucking mess, like I've said a few times. The adults, 3 couples living here, were fucking writing on the walls, telephone numbers and everything. It was a fucking mess. Graffiti everywhere. It was just absolute mess. And Philip and I broke our backs, literally. Because I love interior designing, decorating. I love outside. That's my thing, project planning, right? And Philip's got the handyman and that. We hired handymen. They know fuck. We had to complete everything that they did. Yeah, even at the rates, at the high rates they were charging. So all the properties I've lived in, even rentals, on my own and stuff, with my ex-husband, I maintained them. I looked after them inside, outside. That's my thing, decor, designing, decorating, right? Not just fashion designing, but also property and all that. I do that. I can get a crap place and fix it up. So, why did I say this now? Oh, I love my nice houses. I love my nice cars. I love this and I love that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't identify by the labels that are around me. You know, sure, I love, you know, sort of fashion labels and things like that, which I'll buy secondhand or I'll buy reduced or whatever. Like, I'll get everything reduced. I don't pay full price. But that's because I love the item. I love the item. And, you know, a lot of times I see these people driving these cars, luxury cars, and having these houses. I'm thinking, You don't dress the part. You don't look the part. Why are you getting a Merc or you're getting, which is shit, or an Audi? You're getting. I've got a Merc, and they are the shit. Don't buy a brand new Merc. Do not buy a new Merc. It's another video I've got to show you what the Mercedes dealerships, how they treat their customers. There's a whole website about Mercedes. There's a guy, professional car guys. Right. Anyway, that's another video. Don't identify by what you have. Get what you like, but not because, oh, it's in fashion to wear this or it's in fashion to buy this, in fashion to do this. No. Get it because you like it. Yeah, that's one kind of label. If you've got another kind of label, Adrian, that you want me to think about or to discuss, let me know. But it's all labels. Right. And then the other labels is, the medical labels? See, they started, what, over 100 years ago. So, women that were distressed and abused by their husbands and were complaining to their doctors, the doctors were saying, well, you're just crazy, and they just drugged them up. Right? Instead of saying, go and communicate and talk with your husband, they just drugged them up. And then they invented menopause. They invented menopause. I don't think it exists. It doesn't. Been reading Anthony Williams stuff on menopause. It makes sense because most of us women have got menopausal symptoms all our life as soon as we get our menstruation starts, right? But they're doing it on purpose to sell all the medications, to make you believe that you're sick. Good morning, Belinda. How are you, darling? To make you believe you're sick. No. Doesn't matter how old you are. And remember, everything I say is from personal experiences, physical and professional and everything, right? Okay, no, I've had all the symptoms. And they call it, you see, before menopause, when you have these symptoms, they had to call it something, and they call it perimenopause, P-R-I. See, it's all these fucking labels. So instead of saying that kids have got Asperger's, Alzheimer's, Asperger's, autism and all that, the reason why your babies and kids have them is because they've been fucked in the head from the drugs you took, or that your grandparents took, or from all the poisons that were put in the foods. They just label your kids, and you drug them. You drug your own kids. Why have children if you're going to drug them? If you don't want your kids, put them up for adoption. Why are you drugging your kids? I don't understand it. Unless you're on drugs yourselves, I understand that. That's why you do it. But I don't forgive that because that is abuse. So there's also labels in the medical area, right? Now, there has been research, though, in a lot of medical areas, right? Because I read all medical-based stuff, a lot of it also. There's research that confirms a lot of the things that we say about the aluminium, cadmiums, and all the toxins and everything else out there that have been included in these labels, right? So you've got to do your research and find out exactly what's going on. Don't think that by smoking now, stopping when you're pregnant and starting later, or taking drugs before stopping and later, or drinking or whatever. I mean, seriously, you're fooling yourself. Seriously, it's in your body, it's in your system. And aspirin takes 10 years to get out of the body. And aspirin takes 10 years to get out of the body. Drugs take years to get out of the body. Whatever drugs they are. Prescription or whatever else. Okay, now, Mercury retrograde, what it does, it makes you get so fucking impatient, so pissed off with everything that happened a million years ago with your ex and that ex and your family and your friends and all that. It's all coming out now. You know why? Because you've got to deal with it. And you're probably thinking, well, I don't give a shit. That was my ex. That was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago and whatever. I tell you what is. If it's still coming up now, it means that it still hurts you a bit. And that's okay. Because we're not meant to forget. We're not meant to have Alzheimer's or dementia. We're not meant to have it. That's from the heavy metal toxins in the brain. We're not meant to forget. We're meant to remember. We're meant to even remember our past lives. Did you know that? Do you know that I can sit and talk to you and access my past life? I don't need to go in regression. I don't need to go into hypnosis. I remember with the healer that I used to go to, or if you call her a healer, I used to do the regression, and I used to laugh while I was telling her about my past, what was happening in my past life. Because I was there. I didn't have to get hypnotized. I could do that. Even with Philip. That's how I met him at the start. I saw our past life and how we met in this life and all that. Anyway, so Mercury in retrograde, the energy pushes us to clean up physically around us. Start cleaning. It doesn't matter what dictatorship we're under. Start cleaning. You will feel better energetically. You'll feel better, right? Start throwing out rubbish, recycling, swapping, right? Start cleaning your filing system. I said to you, or I'm going to teach you how to do basic finances and admin. So easy. So easy. Basic stuff. Really, really stuff. I'm going to set up a page to invite whoever wants to come on so I can do the live on that group there, right? Or I might even do, no, I don't want to do a pre-recorded video in case you do have questions. So Mercury in retrograde that comes around 3-4 times a year is forcing us to address situations and emotions that we've been avoiding. You know, like men, ladies can maybe understand me a bit more here, and I'll explain to you. You know, whenever we menstruate, usually every month, sometimes not, depending on our stress levels, it comes and goes. Often men who live with us, the males in our lives, think, oh, she's got a fucking period again, she's gone off her head. No, men, it's not the period or the hormones that have made us go off our head. No. What happens is that the menstruation is such a powerful vibrational force in our body, cleansing the shit out of our body, that we get to a higher vibration where we can see clearer the shit that we've had to put up from people in our life. And that's why we discuss it when we do during our period, because we're going through a cleansing process. So when we're cleansing here, our bodies, we're shitting more, right? And pissing more, right? It's not a bad thing, is it? Same with menstruation. We're getting rid of toxins from our body. So when you're cleansing, you're raising your vibrations. When we're menstruating, we're raising our vibrations. Now, why there's pains is because, and I'll put some links up on that, on endometriosis and all that, surgeries don't work. It's because of the Epstein-Barr virus and the other viruses in our bodies that if we don't eat well, that it activates the pains in our bodies. I'll put that link up. I won't get into it now. So when you detox, there's pain associated, and physical too, physical and emotional. So Mercury is a detox. Whenever I put up, I'll be putting up or telling you Mercury retrogrades around. And I'm going to put up the calendar of when it's on in 21. Because I'm hoping that you all have your diaries that I suggested you all to get. Yes, you all have your diaries, don't you, to put in all these dates. Because when we have no more internet and phones, you need to access and be your own leaders and access your diaries. So, this retrograde that is in Scorpio, that is fucking me up because I'm double Scorpio, right, in a Libran month, but it's a Scorpio Mercury retrograde. It started September 23rd, finishes November 19. Different sites said, September 8, November 17, it doesn't matter, just leave it 19. So September 23rd to November 19. And I've asked you a few times, I suggest, do not buy a car. Do not buy a house. Do not sign any contracts. Do not buy electrical equipment. Just wait. It's just another month. The days are flying. Just do cleaning up and do other shit in the meantime. Get other things sorted in the meantime. Do not sign anything. Do not do electrical stuff. Now, because Mercury is a planet of communication, that's what I'm talking about, because the car is communication, computers communication, electrical appliances, everything electrical, right? So, and what will happen is anything that's electrical, car, or whatever, communication-wise with friendships and that, it's going to get screwed during 23rd September to 19th November. It's going to say, hello, Paris. You didn't charge my batteries. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. It's reminding us. It's reminding us to fix these things. It's reminding us to fix communication problems we have with people that we want to communicate with. It's teaching us to walk away from people we don't want to communicate with because we've had enough. But having said that, a lot of us during Mercury retrograde want to just fuck off from our relationships when I leave. I would suggest you think twice. I'm not saying that you may not want to leave. I'm just saying don't do it during Mercury retrograde if you can avoid. Why? Because you're not going to do the due diligence that you need to do when you walk off. Example, say you're in a relationship. You have to find out, what your financial rights are, your legal rights, your kids' rights, and all that. You're not going to be able to do that properly during Mercury retrograde because you're all over the place. So what you do during Mercury retrograde is you do all the research of these things. If you need to find a new lawyer, wait till after 19 November, unless you already know someone that's different, right? Don't find someone brand new. And even lawyers are going to be messed up in their heads because we're all foggy at the moment. So Mercury retrograde is a time for research, review, research. Yeah. If you want to walk away from a job, that's okay. But you may regret it. May regret it because you haven't asked for the compensation that you should have asked for. So because during Mercury retrograde, we're not as diplomatic, and we don't negotiate, and we're not as selfish for ourselves, which selfish is a good thing, right? You got to think for yourself. You're not hurting anyone when you think for yourself. We're not thinking of our own interests during Mercury retrograde. To the thoroughly, we're not thinking properly, thoroughly. Okay. Right, so September 23rd to November 19th, put it in your diaries, and I'm going to tell you guys a few things here. Right. See, the retrograde has got full on in the middle and the shadows before and after. Mercury, the star sign Mercury, rules the signs Gemini and Virgo. With Gemini, Mercury expresses the way that we reach out into our neighborhood, interact, and discriminate. Now, isn't that interesting? So Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Now, those of us in Victoria, those of us in all of Australia, because you're all under a dictatorship, doesn't matter whether you're locked up or not, we're all under a dictatorship. And those of us in the rest of the world, we're all under a dictatorship. It's just different, a way of a dictatorship. So, Gemini, so we're in the Mercury retrograde at the moment, and it's all about how we express ourselves into our neighborhoods and interact and discriminate. Isn't that what's happening at the moment? Right? About society, our community, neighborhood, interact, how we do interact or can't interact and not allowed to interact, and how we discriminate. Many of us are critical thinkers, others just don't get it, and others are filling their pockets, right? The shadow of Gemini is Sagittarius. Shadow is the negative aspect. Yeah, negative. And we all have shadows, all of us, except if you're an ascended master. And I'm telling you now, there's no human being who's ascended master. I'm telling you right now. And I'll tell you why I say that. You know I'm clairvoyant. I can see, I can hear everything. What people say about me, about others, I can do all that, right? I block off though, because I've got to focus 3D and high dimension for my children that I'm looking after, right? Now, the shadow I'm talking about. Some people are saying things clairvoyantly and psychically. And friends, you don't have to be a loving person to be a clairvoyant or psychic. Because most people on this planet who are clairvoyant and psychic, astrologers, healers and all them, they're all with the globalists. They're all with the socialists. Most of them. 99.99%. All your leaders, all your motivational speakers and all them. All of them. 99.99999%. I'm just giving that little 1% just to give them some credit. Oh, well, I guess I'm in that category. Yeah, I am. And what's happened is a lot of these people are getting their clairvoyance and their intuition for their own political, business and whatever benefits, right? But what they've been doing is that they've been infiltrating our minds, your minds. And they've been saying things that they've been channeling people and what they're seeing and not seeing, and they're making it look like clairvoyance. Do you know, friends, that the future of the world has been known for millions of years, what was going to happen? So it's up there in the Akashic records, which is like a big library like the one that they burned Alexander the Great in Egypt. Well, this is a spiritual library where the past, present, future, and all the dimensions and everyone, all the information is up there in the Akashic records. And even that I don't trust, because even that can be corrupted, right? Getting there. Because you see, what happens is that these nasty people, they can create fake Akashic records. And you think in your meditation that you're going there to get information for you, and it's not real. So there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, you know, I can see, I can hear, I can feel and all that. I can see, I can tell spot on if they can or not, and I can see exactly if they're seeing or not and where they're getting the information from. You've got to be really, really careful when you trust psychics and clairvoyants, right? Tarot readers, all these people in the metaphysical realm. Be very careful. We've known about these things for millions of years. It's not new what I'm saying. It's not new if I say things about the world. It's not new, right? Many other clairvoyants, good and bad, know this stuff. Many of us know it because you are all psychic. You are all clairvoyant. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach you how to connect even more your pineal gland to, because the drugs, fluoride and all the other stuff is fucking up your heads. It's fucking up your pineal glands. So I'm just trying to tell you, be very careful what you hear and see out there. And if your intuition says to you, all right, that person is saying things that's making sense, but they don't look right, they don't sound right, you know, you don't like the way they present, there's usually a reason why you're saying that. Find out why, because some people want to create, not some, a lot of people now want to make out they're the saviors. Yeah, the Pied Pipers. A lot of people. I can see straight through them. It's funny, you know, with me, friends. Yeah, I am hard. But I'm the complete opposite, also very sensitive and loving and gentle. You know, friends, I forgot now what I was going to say. I was talking now about the clairvoyance of people. Oh, the energy. Do you know that I sense energy from people, even if I don't know them? Like, you might be talking to me about your workplace, and you'll say, oh, you know, such and such, I've got a colleague who's a bitch or a bastard or whatever. And I'll sense exactly what they look like, their energy, and who they are, and their character and everything. How do I know I've done this? Well, I've done it with Philip's workplace, even though Philip has no faith in my clairvoyance, not at all. He doesn't have any faith in my clairvoyance and things that I say. But that's okay, because my mother didn't have faith either, or my family. So I'm used to people not wanting to believe. See, my mother from 1920 was telling me stop finishing people's sentences. So she put a mask on me, like I've said a few times. And that's okay. I've got masks for my ex-boyfriends and partners. That's okay. But no one can put a mask on me anymore. Because I've got you guys to talk to. Well, even if I didn't, I'm still managing to do the clairvoyance and all that on my own. I'm just telling you to be very careful, because this is all planned. This year what's been happening in Victoria, Australia, that what's happened is they want to break us, which they have. They've broken us financially and emotionally. And when you're broken, what do? You want to look for a shoulder to cry on. So all these psychics and clairvoyants are going to come out now and are going to start preaching like they're saviors and preaching like, oh, you know, if you join this following, that, you know, we're going to raise the vibrations and we're going to get into a new earth, which is a globalist term, and a new world, globalist term. Be very, very careful. That's all I've got to tell you. Okay? All right. If you want to go, go. But don't say that I didn't warn you. Do not say I did not warn you, because most of you and most of your friends and families are desperate to cry on someone's shoulder. And that's why I'm creating these little intimate groups, so we can cry on each other's shoulders, so we don't need to fall into the trap. That's a trap. Okay, now, when Mercury is retrograde, often the negative is or disowned nature of Pisces is expressed. Now, we may think that someone else will do it, right? During Mercury retrograde, we're thinking, oh, someone else is going to pick up the dirty work for us. Or we may imagine that things will turn out for the best, or we may imagine or hope instead of doing something for ourselves. And this is why the governments who consult with astrologists and the psychics and clairvoyants and all these people that you guys are following, not you guys that you're listening to, a lot of you and others, everything is done astrologically. I keep telling you that. I've been telling you this has been happening for millions of years on all dimensions. It all happens astrologically, right? Because they know that during this time we are desperate for someone to cry on. Even me, as strong as I am and as confident as I am in myself and my beliefs, even I have my moments of weaknesses. Even I have my moments of weaknesses. And then I walk away and I think, no, I'm not going to give it myself. No, I have too much dignity and self-respect to allow someone who's betrayed me and used me, or for people who are not transparent with me and not straight with me, to be transparent with me. Yeah, I'm human. I'm a woman. I've got my good morning, Svetlana. How are you, darling? I've got my weaknesses too, don't you think? I'd rather go for a chocolate. Yeah. Now, each sun sign is affected differently. That's why I said because I'm in Scorpio, it's going to affect me a lot. And I've told you about the Cafe Astrology website. You can do your free birth natal charts right now. The Mercury retrograde survival guide. You're saying, all right, Paris, we know the fucking problems. How do we survive this now? Oh, I have got the timelines. Well, I know I'm sure I've got now. This is what happens during Mercury retrograde, friends. Right? This is what happens. The mere mention of the two words Mercury retrograde is enough to get even the toughest person into a tailspin. Visions of computer malfunctions, lost documents, and flight delays are sure to come into your mind. Well, fuck flight delays in Australia, right? Well, except for the footballers and the politicians' families and all them, they can fly around and do what the fuck they want, right? Right. And like I've said to you before, a lot of famous people we're going to hear, and a lot of not famous people, just normal average people, choose to die to pass over during Mercury retrograde. Because like I've said before, I feel that the veil is thinner and it's easier to go where they need to go. Do they know where they're going? That's another topic. Do we know where we're going when we cross over? Right. So since Mercury governs communication and travel, it's best to take care most of your purchasing and planning ahead of time. So what they're saying is before Mercury retrograde comes in, that's when you should be doing your buying, right? Well, it's too late now. We're past September 23rd. So before retrograde, you've got to back up your data, make any necessary plans or purchases of big items, especially electronics, or sign contracts before our Mercury retrograde starts its retrograde journey. Or you can wait until after the retrograde cycle ends and you'll have a renewed, fresher perspective, okay? I'm glad to hear it's very lovely. Now, be kind. Lighten up. Let go and move on. Easier said than done. Don't freak out. Easier said than done. Release your past. Reclaim your power. Regenerate your spirit. Revive your passions. Find out what you love to do and you didn't have time to do because of the kids. Your partner set you back. Find your passions again. It's going to raise your vibrations, right? Reflect on what matters. Don't give a shit about trivial stuff. Look at what matters. We are bang smack in the middle of the biggest metaphysical war and metaphysical transformation ever. Well, I wouldn't say ever. Well, it is. I think it is, because even when Atlantis blew up, the Atlanteans blew up Atlantis. Yeah, because they were the nasty people. It's the same thing with artificial intelligence. Them, right? Now's the time. Now, we're going through it. We've chosen to come at this time, so pull our socks up and get ready. Reconnect with old friends, but still be cautious because they have moved on like you have. You may not be able to resonate, but just reconnect, even if it's with exes. If you've been hurt by exes or whatever reason you've got unfinished business, reconnect with them. Just say, hi, how you going? If you've hurt them, say fucking sorry. Does it really matter? Say sorry if you've hurt them. We've both done shit in relationships that have hurt them. Your parents, your families, everyone else. If they've really betrayed you, big time, it's a different story. It's a different story. Or abused you physically, sexually, and all that. Remind yourself to have fun. Revise your self-image. Right? Physically. Your clothes, whatever. Your image. Reevaluate your self-worth. And I'm not talking about your banking records, what you're worth. I'm talking about start to think. Do you value yourself? Do you value who you are, or are you expecting others to commend you and to pat you on the back so you can feel good about yourself? Do not expect a pat on your back. Do not expect it, right? I like it when someone says, "Oh, Paris, that's nice what you did," or "That's good what you did," but I don't expect it, because when you expect it and you don't get it, you get disappointed, right? But when you're around high vibration people like you, we say it to one another. The birds aren't happy. They're not happy with the weather, right? Reprioritize your goals. What are your goals? Repair your appliances. You go around the house and repair light bulbs, kitchen appliances, this, that, or whatever. Rearrange your furniture. You know, it's fun when you move things around. You know, you feel like you're in a different environment. It's really fun. I do it all the time. Been doing it all my life. Refresh your wardrobe. Yeah, refresh it. Clean it up. Look at what you want, what you don't want. Swap with people. Give your garments or things to people who are less fortunate as you. Right? Regain balance. Recharge your batteries. Reinvigorate your body. Magnesium baths, exercise, whatever you feel like doing. Reboot your energy. Relieve your mind of worries. Relieve them. The worries that you have, just drop them for a few moments. Just drop them. They're going to be there, right? So the birds feel and sense when something's going on out there. If you've got worries, bills to pay, things to do, and whatever, worrying about it, what's it achieving? So what you do is you write it down. Let the paper take your worries. You write on your list. See, that's why I've got everything written down of what I need to do. I'm not saying I do everything. I write it in. I can't keep things in my head. I can't keep everything in my head. You go fucking crazy. Right, so write them down. Now, who's this? I'm on a live. I don't want any interruptions, please. No, boy. Remember to breathe. You know that I haven't been breathing for years. I don't breathe. I've been keeping I haven't been breathing. Refocus your intentions. Rebel from the status quo. This is all Mercury retrograde. Get rid of negative thinking. Reprogram your mind. Recite affirmations. You're brainwashed by nice things, right? Realign with source. Your pineal gland. Sauce, not tomato sauce. Thinking of that, I've got to make some potato chips today. I love my chips, my fried chips in my olive oil. So connect, your highest vibe with source through your pineal gland and crown chakra. Now listen, boy, I've got my head down. If you shit on my hair, I won't be happy. Receive infinite blessings. Relax. And also sleep as much as you need to, friends. Recreate. Recover from stress. Refuel your batteries. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Rejoice in the moment. Realize how awesome you all fucking are. This is the problem. We haven't been told how good we are. It's all the bozos out there that get all the awards and all the how good and special they are. Let me tell you something about awards, friends. I was working for L'Oreal. I temped with them and they screwed me good time too. I got them all organised, their branding. I did all their branding, imaging and the rest of it and other admin stuff from this contract they got from New York. And then they just told me to fuck off. Yeah, the boss put his girlfriend in, you see, his mistress in the position. Now, I put my hair up because I don't want boys shitting on my hair. Do you know the companies that get, no, it's my juice. You know the companies that get awards in Australia? Do you know that they get awards depending on which brotherhood they belong to? But especially like how many sales of products. They get like a hairdresser. It depends on how many shampoos, hair colors and all that. And if they buy a lot of stock from the company says, oh, there's a hairdresser of the year. I've got so many stories to tell you about the corporate world. You won't fucking believe it. I temped in like 100 places. My ex-husband, because I was doing most of my temping with my ex, he would get a map of Victoria and he would put dots, and he said, I'm going to put dots of everywhere that you worked. I worked in so many industries, IT, engineering, um, everywhere I've worked, absolutely everywhere. I've knocked back jobs in the pharmaceutical, over $100,000 jobs in the pharmaceutical, because I didn't want to work in that industry. They experiment on animals and on people too. Anyway, hang on a second, boy. I'm doing my work. So I've got a lot of experiences there. So you are all wonderful. And I'm not saying it Tony Robbins style and shit. No, no. I'm saying it because I have messages and contact with each one of you for many months now, at least from June. And if you are able to raise my vibrations and make me laugh, because I tell you, I'm very hard to satisfy. You ask the men in my life, very hard to satisfy, and I'm not just talking in the bedroom. If you are able to put a smile on my face, make me happy, and from going from a shit mood, going into a happy mood, you fucking got so high vibrations and you're unbelievable people. Unbelievable. You got incredible energies, wonderful auras. You've got to acknowledge that and accept that within yourselves. You're not gonna get nice words from me just because I feel like being nice. No, I never just feel like being nice. I'm raw. I say it and do it as it is. Now listen, boy. You want some juice? Boy wants my berry juice too. That's it. Fuck. Now, Mercury retrograde, right? Now, why I'm saying it, I'm going to talk about Saturn return later, not now. During Mercury retrograde, you can feel irritated by delays, distractions, and mixed messages. Mercury rules contracts, communication, education, schools, thinking, perception, data, and transportation. Mercury governs all forms of media such as publishing, broadcasting, podcasts, radio, and TV. Do you understand that Mercury is major? But the one thing that I really need you to do is do not rush. Do not make rash decisions because you're going to regret them. If you're in a relationship, you walk out, your partner walks out, contact them if you want them back. Speak to them because they made that rash decision, right? We've got to work together, especially in this metaphysical environment, because what the AI people want is for us to all crumble. They want us to crumble as individuals. They want us to crumble as partners, as relationships. They want us to crumble as families. And sure, that's fine because every family's got its shit. You walk away from people that piss you off. You have to do that. You can't stay in toxic situations. You've got to start looking for healthy, for people who support you and love you and understand you and resonate with you. Do not rush. Do not be impatient. When something happens, when someone says something, oh, fuck, just say it's Mercury retrograde. Yeah. When someone walks out now and new meetings, do not trust new meetings. No new projects. No new projects. No new projects during Mercury retrograde. If you want to start a new project, a new business or something, excuse me, you do it after November 19. At least after November 4th, 5th. Right? Just wait. Do all your researching now. Set up your Facebook page because it's a marketing page, right? No, boy, leave my mouse alone, please. Set up your marketing pages, set up your website, do whatever, right? However you want to promote your product or service. Do not start a new project now. New friendships, be very, 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 very careful you meet someone new, even as a friend. It's interesting, because I have a great friend I've been I liaise with online for around 3-4 years, and I met him during Mercury retrograde, and he's a very sensitive man. He's an amazing man. He's a musician. He's wealth of information, all that. But always in the back of my mind, I always say, just be careful, Paris, because you met him Mercury retrograde. So I don't know if there's any exceptions to the rule, but I'm always just very cautious. very cautious. And Mercury in retrograde, like I said, exposes the truths. There may not be lies, but exposes truths. So a lot of stuff will be coming out. A lot of things. I'm going to try and put up a bit more information, Mercury retrograde. I realise I've gone an hour, and I hate keeping you guys long because I know that you've got your lives and you're busy. If you want to ask me anything, and all the messages, I get so many messenger messages, we're all sharing things that way. I do look at them and I read them. I'm probably 2 weeks behind now with my messages. 2 weeks behind. I don't look at videos about, New World Orders, anything on governments and all that. I don't need to. It's all repeat stuff. I don't need to look at that stuff. Unless it's got something to raise my vibrations, why should I lower my vibrations watching it? I don't watch media releases anymore. I'll watch it only if I want to find something specific. And friends, we're going into spring, summer now. And the weather might get a bit dry and hot. How about we start fireproofing our properties? You would get our fire hydrants, making sure there's no things around our properties that can cause fires and things like that. Start cleaning up now. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. And I did have another nice little song that I didn't want to play for you towards the end. So let me just stop this for a moment. Thank you so much for listening. Right, now boy, I've got so much to do again today as usual. Just going to play a nice song here because it's about Mercury in retrograde also, from Hazel Dean in the 80s. And it's called Who is Leaving Who? Thanks for pissing on my back. Listen to this word. I'll put the video up to listen to the words.
Here we are with goodbye in our eyes, running out of reasons to try. The leaves have changed and fallen down, with both of us wondering why. We're all alone, but still it seems we're thousands of miles apart. The sands of time have shifted now, and the end is beginning to start. And I don't know the answer, 'cause I don't know the questions. I'm not trying, 'cause I don't even know who's leaving who. Is it me? Is it you? Could change if we knew. Tell me who's leaving who.
Come on, boy.
We can do. Can you tell me who's leaving who?
Come on, boy.
Talk to me.
Love you all.
Chance of working it out heart to heart.